Before we even get started, I want to start by saying congratulations for being here right now and tapping into this video, because most humans go through their life willy-nilly, blindly. They'll say they want something. Actually, most of the time, and this might be you, and this has definitely been me like many times in a row, people will say what they don't want. They'll repeatedly say, I don't want to work at a job I don't like. I don't want to be in a relationship that feels crappy. I don't want to have friends that gossip. I don't want this. I'm like, great. What do you want? Who do you want to be? How do you want to be remembered? How do you want to experience your days? And what are the actions you are taking to be that person and to experience your days as such? Most people put their idea of who they are, unfortunately, outside of them. You know, one of my favorite quotes by Neville Goddard is, instead of, man, I should have written the quote down. I do this so often. I've got to get to know, this is part of my self-concept I'm working on. Remember to write the quotes you know you want to talk about. I'm going to put it here in bold. But essentially, it's when you're going out into the world to manifest your dream reality, to attract your dream reality, most people are trying to change the outside world. They're trying to change the mirror reflection instead of changing the way they perceive the reflection. So they're trying to break the mirror to change who they are instead of changing how they perceive themselves in the mirror. And perhaps in a sense that you're like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you can't change. If you change your perceptions, you won't see yourself differently. Actually, you do. In fact, if you read the book Psycho-Cybernetics, I'll write again. I'll write his name right here. He was a famous plastic surgeon who couldn't understand why sometimes he would perform surgeries on people and they would look at themselves in the mirror and they would not see the change. And when I read that book, it fascinated me because I remembered a friend of mine who had a job, who operated on her nose, like where my background is from, like basically everyone, I'm the only one I know that hasn't gotten her nose done. I like my little nose, I think it's cute, whatever. Some people will be like, no, I would get it done. I love what God gave me. But I understand if someone wants to change something, I never project my perception onto them. That said, this friend of mine got her nose done. It looked absolutely beautiful. There was a little bit of imperfection on the doctor's part. Like, he had to clean up a little bit the work. But what I found fascinating is that instead of it making her feel better about herself, like about her appearance, it made her feel worse. And the person she saw in the mirror, she did not like. And so this is just one tangible example of how you can change the things, but if you don't change the way you see yourself in the mirror, the way you see life, nothing changes. Think of how many wildly successful people are out there. They do the things, they create the things. In fact, there's a beautiful creator, her name is Vanessa Lau. I started following her when she had 25,000 followers on YouTube. She has over 700, and she quit her business overnight. I have so much respect for that because she literally found herself in a space where she's like, I don't even know who I am right now. And she's successful as AF. I'm gonna link her video below because if you wanna see her journey, but the multiple $8 million in revenue she generated, she went all around the globe, and yet she still did not see herself as successful in being who she wanted to be in life. So this point of self-concept, this is a very long intro for it, probably the longest intro I've ever done, but it just can't be stressed enough of how important it is for us to be very consciously aware of who we are being and not putting it outside of us and waiting for that outside world to change us. As we get going, welcome back to my channel. If you're new on this channel, hi, my name is Atena, and on this channel, we learn to love ourselves unconditionally. I will teach you to learn to love yourself unconditionally, and we manifest our dream realities. I will also teach you how to do that. I teach you both. So if that's something you're interested in, you should consider subscribing to this channel. So I have my notes here. I want to make sure I really go on the point. I want to give you 6 ways for you to intentionally shift your self-concept. And I will shamelessly, very shamelessly plug in my journal, Step Into the Chrysalis. And the reason why I'm doing that is because inside this journal, we do a lot of self-concept work. And the first part of self-concept is awareness. And awareness is not just being aware. Wow, I should win an Emmy for this. Awareness is not just being aware. Sorry, it's just hardly coming out of my mouth. But like, what I'm trying to say is the first level of awareness is proactively choosing your self-concept. Intentionally writing down, like we do inside the chrysalis, who do I want to be? How do I want to be remembered? What are my values? What are the stories that I want to know about me? What are the stories I want to let go? The stories that you want to let go, that is definitely the second layer of awareness. Once you get very intentional with who you're becoming, you create the awareness of who you want to be. And remember, don't focus on who you don't want to be. Like, you can be clear on that. Process of elimination is always beautiful. That's definitely been my life path as a 4/6 MG. If you know, you know. If you don't know, it's all good. But like, I literally went through a process of elimination. Okay, this isn't for me. This isn't for me. This isn't for me. Aha, this feels nice. Okay, so that's fine. But place your focus on attention on who you want to become. What are the things that activate you in terms of who you want to be? And start raising your awareness of where are the parts that you are uncomfortable. Like, it just feels fraudulent potentially on your behalf to be like that. Like, perhaps you grew up in a household where finances weren't super well managed. So you as an adult, you have that programming in your mind. And by the way, if you criticize your parents for the way they are or some of the things that they've done, 1000%, that's inside your unconscious confirmation of who you are. If that part doesn't make sense, I'm gonna link a video below where I talk about unconscious family loyalties and the subconscious mind. It is a very important element for all of you to be aware of in terms of how you grew up and your family, your immediate surrounding, highly affects you on a very deep, almost unconscious level of who you can be within a safe range. And it's very important to light that match within that dark place that's literally in the back end of your mind, to bring it up into the surface so that you may transcend it, that you may go through it, and that you may go over onto the other side. And so as you raise that conscious awareness of who you want to be and what are some potential knowings within your own thought patterns within your brain that's literally a record of the past, you want to bring them to the forefront. You want to take actions to let them go. And if you're curious about what actions, I'm going to link a video below where I talk about how we're all lying to ourselves and how you can choose to lie to yourself in a way that actually benefits you. And as you do that, you got to get really very thirsty today, it's very hot here. You got to get really crystal clear on the image that you are bringing in. So when I say bringing in, again, it's not from the outside world, and I see it as like channeling it in from source, asking God to bring you the remembrance of who you're meant to be on this earth. And sometimes perhaps borrowing from other people. Like, let's say you see a creator and you're like, I really like his or her energy. I really like her lifestyle. I see how she's going about her life. And you know what? I want to do that too. I know that's how I got into the game of YouTube. I'm like, I like this lifestyle. I like how these creators are creative. And so when I saw that, I'm like, okay, now it's time for me to see myself as that creator. So that's the second step. Taking a moment to say, okay, well, what is the image of this self-concept of the person I'm becoming? So as you are building this image, you've got to write it in a way of decision. Like, I've decided this is who I am. I'm declaring this is who I am. And so I write it down. I don't know how else to say it. Whether you do it inside the chrysalis or you do it on a piece of paper or you do it in an elaborate journal, write it down and make it visible. Because when you make it visible and you have that devotion to becoming that person, living and breathing that version of you, it starts becoming increasingly a non-negotiable. And one of the reasons why, I keep saying it, because unapologetic plugging it in, but also know you can do this in your own journal every single day. Every single day when you are writing out how your day went, notice what parts of your self-concept are not in alignment with that decision and that declaration. And it's not about making it wrong, saying, oh, shame on me because I didn't think like this, shame on me because I didn't seek that opportunity, or shame on me because I'm not scanning the world the way I should be. No, it's not about that. It's about being accepting that that's how your mind is thinking right now. Your thoughts have been firing and wiring a certain way. But as you make that decision and that declaration, and I highly recommend you sign your name and say, so it is done, and you script it into reality every single day, it just becomes a much more natural part of you on your soul growth and your soul evolution. Let that one sink in for a while. And then the third step is, as you build the image, what are the actions? So this part is fundamental. I will tell you something. Most of the time, you probably won't already feel worthy. Okay? This is a whole other subject that I'm going to get to in my next video. But you will have the idea, you will rehearse it in your visualizations, in your hypnosis, in your EFT tapping, in your journaling. Maybe you do all the things like me. I love to do it all. But it's like very frequently that action that you take is the thing that will propel you to finally witness yourself as a different human. So if the version of you that you are seeing is like, well, she's healthy, she's wealthy, she's cheerful. This is all coming out. It's like, okay, so this healthy version of me, how does she eat? Does she go to the gym? If she goes to the gym, then I will put it as my self-concept. Part of my action is to get my tushy to the gym. If she is building a beautiful, wealthy empire, well, she knows how to manage her finances. So let me learn how to manage my finances if I already don't. And one of the things that I will very highly recommend is to not do it all at once. You may be in a place right now that you're like, holy camoli, I want a whole different image, self-image. I'm becoming a whole new person. Powerful, beautiful, potent. What is the area that you find trips you up the most? Like, if you would feel a whole lot better in a body that is vibrant, perhaps you want to start right there. Learning to drink water, detoxing the body, literally, quitting alcohol, going to the gym. Like, start there and build momentum slowly from that. Let it be a slow brew. And that's going to take focus. That's going to take clarity. And that's why I'm a huge fan of journaling. It's going to take clarity on the things that trip you up, the parts of your identity that haven't quite yet grasped on, hey, I am a healthy person. I am someone who nourishes this body. I am someone who chooses, when I look at myself in the mirror, I will choose to look at the parts of my body and send love instead of criticism. And this goes really hand in hand with the fourth part of you building a strong self-concept, is that you have got to entertain a level of delusion that both marries the world of I deeply love and accept myself as I am, and at the same time, even though I doubt, I have such a trust in this vision that came to me, this vision of God, this vision of who I'm becoming, that I have faith that I will get there. I don't always know how. Like, the thing with the body is probably maybe the simplest, but like perhaps building wealth is a little more out there. Like, I'm not sure how I'm going to build the wealth. I'm not sure how I'm going to manifest the love, though I know the love that I deserve, though I know that I'm born to be wealthy and that it's my birthright. And so as I know this, as I live and breathe it, I will entertain a level of delusion that allows me to put my googly eyes, googly glasses, and see life in a brighter picture. And one of the things that probably the most important thing is the sixth step of choosing to do a mirror and rehearsal work. Now this sixth step, I did a whole YouTube live on it. It's 16 minutes. It is potent. Go check it out because I go into more detail about it. But in a nutshell, what you want to do is not ignore the things that you're not doing, but to very hyper focus on everything you are doing right and to allow everything that you're doing right to snowball. So like if I decide that I'm going to be drinking 8 cups of water a day, I will congratulate myself. Hey, you weren't a water drinker yesterday and today you are. Congratulations, you're doing it. Good job. And also know, by the way, like a little hack, if you put, instead of putting a million things on your to-do list, put 1 to 3 max. And then if you end up doing more, put more things. This is just a little hack for your brain to feel like, oh, I'm winning, I'm doing more than I was supposed to do, or I did what I said I was going to do. So just make sure you do stuff like that. Like those little mindset hacks are gold. That's a really good one for this. Like start when you're starting small and building up. And as you're doing that, when you find yourself tripping up, so on the YouTube live, I talked about like if you're getting fit and then you eat a chocolate chip cookie, and then instead of being super hard on yourself, ask yourself the questions like, well, how could I have arranged my day a little bit better so that I don't get hangry? And to revise the day and imagine what I would have wanted to do instead of having that cookie. To give your mind a reality, even if it's fictional. I say this all the time, I'm almost in every video because I can't stress it enough. When you choose to entertain a version of reality within your imagination, and you use very vivid, proactive visualization, scripting, I love scripting, I think, more than just the visualization. Like I will write where I effed up, I will forgive, I will rewire, and I will congratulate myself for the future vision, already being manifest. And thank you so much for tuning in today's video. Next week, we're going to talk a lot more about self-worth and how to manifest even if you don't feel worthy. And until then, I'm sending you so much love and thank you for watching up to this point. Bye. Whoa, gotta work out them arms. Yeah, that's part of my subconscious.